Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and enjoy the full video. On the Monday, August 25th episode of The Young and the Restless, Adam tried to get Nick to join forces, Billy had Kane followed, and Victor blackmailed Kane into an alliance. Nick and Adam ran into one another at the new Newman Ranch. Adam expressed doubts about Victor's plan to pretend to form an alliance with Kane. Adam recognized that Jack would always be Victor's main adversary, but he didn't believe the situation justified an alliance with Kane, who couldn't be trusted. Nick admitted that he didn't condone Victor's plans for Jabot, but nothing would stop their dad from going after Jack. Adam questioned the point of cozying up to Kane, and Nick reasoned that it was about keeping their enemies close. Nick revealed that he'd already started trying to bridge the gap to get Kane to trust them. But Adam protested that it would take too long when Kane was already making moves. Adam swore that he'd never question their father's killer instincts, but it seemed like a perfect opportunity for Kane to pull a fast one on Victor. Nick opted to stay the course. But Adam worried that there were too many questions about how Kane had amassed his fortune. Adam preferred to avoid walking into a trap, and he proposed that he and Nick present a united front to convince Victor to change his mind. Nick was sure Victor couldn't be talked out of anything, and he thought Victor could pull it off. Nick referred to a weapon that Victor was planning to use against Kane. Nick recounted that he and Sharon had found information about the French chateau's previous owners when they'd been locked up. He divulged that Victor had been waiting for confirmation about something that could tie everything back to the chateau. Adam wished he and Nick were on the same page. Nick pointed out that the information might be strong enough to avoid the need to form a fake friendship to protect their family. Nick encouraged Adam to put his faith in Victor. Adam hoped they didn't live to regret Victor's plan. At Crimson Lights, Kane explained to Lily that building his empire had been the biggest risk of his life, and he kept it a secret because he hadn't wanted her to see him fail. He continued that he'd done it for her and the kids because he'd had a lot to make up for, so he'd poured his heart and soul into it. Lily argued that while he'd achieved money and power as a successful businessman, he'd failed as a father because the twins felt betrayed. Kane lamented that he'd ended up in the place he feared, with his family despising him. She asked if it had all been for nothing. Victor greeted Lily and Kane and requested to speak with Kane. Kane huffed that he was in the middle of something, but Lily declared that they were done. She added that she needed to support the kids, and she urged Kane to think about what they'd talked about and reflect on what he wanted. Kane begged her to stay, but Lily firmly stated that he'd made his choices, and he had to take responsibility for the consequences. After Lily left, Victor suggested that he and Kane talk in private. Lily and Holden ran into one another in Chancellor Park, and she voiced surprise that he was still there despite her warning about working for Kane. Holden replied that he was wary about warnings from people about their exes, and he confirmed that he'd accepted the job managing Kane's real estate. Lily expected him to end up regretting it, since Kane had just once again reminded her how much he hurt the people close to him.